Guys, it finally happens. This is week 100 and the 700th day happens this week. If you're just joining us, my name's Adam and this is my renovation here on Iris Street. A ton of work happens this week, so let's just get right into it. The main focus of week 100 is actually outside for a change. I take a break from the drywall and do some prep work on this fence line because tomorrow my concrete company is going to be coming to rip out the old retaining wall and replacing it. After I'm inside, I do still get a little bit of mudding done. One thing I'm learning about the mudding is that once you get a good first base coat down, these second coats go so much quicker and come out so much nicer. So once I get the first coat done on the whole house, this part's gonna fly. On Friday, Tony and his crew from Reliable Concrete are out in my backyard right at the beginning of the day. It takes them no time at all to rip out my old fence and the old cinder block retaining wall, and they put up forms for the new retaining wall. My neighbor and I wanted a poured concrete retaining wall, especially one that has rebar in it, and this was the only company that could accommodate that. They were awesome, got it done quick. In fact, they finished this retaining wall in a single day, which means my fencing crew can come first thing next week and get going on that fence. Good afternoon, it's Saturday the 24th, and today Mike and I are going to install the French door in this doorway. So before I can do that, I need to grind down the bottom part of this concrete so that everything fits nice. As a precaution, I emptied this room so that any concrete dust from the grinding wouldn't coat everything. However, I used a dust guard this time I ground down the concrete, and it worked amazing. There was hardly any dust at all. My buddy Mike was visiting this weekend, so while we still had some daylight, we turned our attention to the backyard to clean up as much of this fence line as we could before the crew comes in on Monday to install the new fence. Mike was trimming down the growth, and I was working hard on these stumps that I wanted to get out. They're unbelievably hard to get out, as anyone who's worked on a stump would know, but I got the ones out on that new retaining wall and really cleaned things up. Mike, meanwhile, as I said, did a great job just cleaning up all the little shoots and growth along the rest of the fence. Back inside, I mix up a concrete leveling solution so that the French door threshold will have a perfectly smooth flat concrete surface to sit on. On Sunday, I'm really glad that Mike was visiting because we rent this U-Haul truck and we put it to work for the entire day. We start the day out by taking a French door back to Lowe's that was the wrong size. And then after that, I get a bunch of building materials to finish out the porch. So this is mainly all the dimensional lumber, the OSB sheathing, the drywall, and last but not least, the siding you see me loading up here last. With the U-Haul returned safely back to the rental store, Mike and I can turn our attention back to the doorway and the dining room and the porch. Now that that concrete leveler has set up for 24 hours, we can try to install that French door. Before that can happen, I have to make sure this thing is trimmed out properly. It's hard transitioning between masonry and frame 2x4 walls, so I got some common board and some shims and things and wanted to make sure that I had a good rough opening so that when it was time to slide that doorway in, it would be ready to go. After about an hour of work, Mike comes up and we get this thing slided in. Honestly, it looks so much easier in this video than what it actually was. We almost tipped it over a couple of times, but got it in there. handle hardware for these doors hasn't arrived yet, so the best I can do is push them closed and make sure that the fit is good, and from what I can tell, everything looks great. So for now, they won't close, but they're looking good. It's Monday, and as promised, Dustin and his crew from Low High Fencing are back in my backyard right at 8 a.m., ready to tear out all the remaining old fence, clean up a bunch of bushes and shrubs that Mike and I couldn't get out on the fence line, and start drilling the holes for the posts. I was curious about how bad people's backyards are with overgrowth, and I asked Dustin, and he said my yard was actually one of the worst he's ever dealt with. So despite all the cleanup Mike and I tried to do, they still had a lot of work, and you can see there's going to be piles throughout my backyard over the next few days. Well, here we are, day 700. How has it been 700 days of renovating? Feels like some days this is never going to end, but how do you renovate a home? One day at a time, and I'm getting there. Speaking of getting there, the fence crew is really getting there. After 2 days, you can see they've almost got the brand new fence up, and it's really exciting to see this thing starting to come together. They're going to need one more day to finish installing all the slats and then clearing out some of this debris, and I'll even have a little bit to finish up after this, but these guys are kicking ass. They're doing a great job. It's looking great. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. To keep the momentum going, and now that I've figured out how to use my dust shield, I bust out this final curb for the doorway underneath the stairs. Hey gang, I'm just signing off for the week here, but I wanted to say a couple of things first. For one thing, this is the end of the 100th week of my renovation here on Iris Street. By coincidence, it's also the end of the 700th day, so I'm almost at 2 years. And in fact, on Halloween this year, will mark the 2-year anniversary of this renovation. I won't be quite done by then, but hopefully by Christmas, things are starting to wrap up on the inside here. This week was a great week. You saw my buddy Mike help me install the French door in the dining room, and thanks to Low High Fencing and Reliable Concrete, a new retaining wall and a brand new fence got installed in the backyard. It's been a hugely transformative week at the house, and although there's still a ton of work to do, there's little glimpses that maybe the end is actually coming. To my mom and my dad, thank you for all of your help on the house. To my uncles, to my buddy Mike, to all my friends and anyone who's helped me on this project, thank you. This has been a crazy, stupid, massive undertaking, and although very rewarding, it's been a ton of work, and I couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you. One final thanks to my neighbors, especially on this fence project. Everyone went in 50-50 with me on the project, and I had to get yeses from neighbors on all 3 sides, and they all did it, and they've been awesome. So here's to good people in our lives who help us out. Thank you. Thanks to all the people helping me out. Next week is week 101. So I shouldn't have any Dalmatians, but I should have a bunch more home renovation for you guys next week. And hopefully I can just keep this momentum going. So until then, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next week.